Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a good new year, good holiday. I've certainly enjoyed the break. I hope you liked my last video I uploaded as much as I enjoyed being there. um, you may have noticed lack of uploads. Again, I could get into a lot of detail about that, but the most important detail is the title of this video, with it being a big announcement. But before we get to that, I just want to let you know that as a disclaimer, this video is really just me sitting here talking and putting up pictures here and there, showing you what's going on, giving you a recap of everything and what's going to happen. But let's get to it. As a recap, for those of you that are just joining us, or for those of you that have been following along, you may or may not be aware of my little setup I have here, living the dream, with my detached workshop, my attached garage, and a concrete slab I had poured last year. That is my work area. This is a car channel. I rebuild, I tinker, I fabricate stuff. I have a project car that I have really just no room to work on at the moment. What's going to happen moving forward is this workshop we're in is going to be tore down, and I'm going to put up an actual shop. So for those of you that have been following, remember the concrete slab episodes where I had talked about I was just going to do a carport and work under that in the time being. But for various reasons we may touch on later in the video, I've since abandoned that idea. About late December, I've just decided to do everything in one go. Now, why I feel this video is a little late but a little early at the same time is because I don't have exact time frames. I don't have exact dates set up with my contractor for when this is going to start, but I will have that information within a couple of days of me recording this video. Today is a Sunday, but I figured enough is enough. I want to let you guys know what's going on because of the lack of uploads. All right, guys, so jumping right into it. This is just a quick visual of what I've got going on. This is my 10 by 12 shed that previous owner had put a 12 by 12 addition onto the backside of. Obviously, when I moved into this house, it did not look like this. It was completely dilapidated and falling apart. Sorry if the video's choppy. It's kind of cold in here and my phone's acting weird. But as you can see, yes, there's space. This shop has gone through a lot of different designs to utilize as much space as possible, but it's just, if you can imagine, it's just not enough. And like I said, you will see why here in a few minutes. So walking out, got my car hauler. This is our new slab we poured. There's the Galaxy, my next project car. And I totally prepared for this by having the lights turned on already. Again, sorry if the video is choppy, guys. I'm not sure what's going on here. And this is my attached garage. I've utilized every inch, moved the washer and dryer inside the house, repurposed the plug as a welder plug. Quick jacks, pegboard, toolbox, overhead, everything. So you may be wondering what size slab that is. It's a 20 by 24 plus 6 inches on both sides. So what's going to happen now that you have some kind of an idea of the area we have to work with? What's going to happen is that little workshop is going to be tore down. I'm going to have another slab put right next to it. This one will have footers. Likely the same dimensions, another 20 by 24, give or take a couple inches depending on what's needed. And we're going to be putting up a 24 by 40. It's going to look something like this. I may at the last minute go a little bit wider on the shop side of things, leaving the carport area the 20 by 24. I haven't exactly made up my mind on that yet, but that will be determined this week. So guys, believe me, I know some of you may be sitting here thinking like, man, that seems like plenty of space to mess around and tinker with cars. I don't see what the problem is. I hear you on that. Here's the thing on my side. I'm actually one of those weirdos that wants to use my garage as a garage. So I'm trying to get everything automotive related out of this garage and into the shop. Now again, that's not really going to work with what I've got. But more to the point, it's not so much that transition, it's the space I have to work with while keeping this car at the moment off camera, the Audi you just saw. There's very little room for staging spare parts or old parts or spare this, spare that. You know, try to remember what we just walked through, and even with that Harley being shoehorned back into the garage, I have that space. But as an example, we can talk about this car. So this is a 65 Galaxie I picked up as a project car. Yes, it's something I could be working on right now on this nice day. Nothing's stopping me from doing that other than not having a roof over my head when it rains. But my plans with this are quite grandeur. So immediately I want to get the body off of the frame, pull the powertrain, motor, everything needs to come apart on this car. It's not that bad. It's just, it's a wore out old car. And to some of you, working on it outside on a slab isn't that big of a deal, but for me, being quite OCD, even something as simple as this, just pulling the seats out to get started, where am I supposed to put them? You know, like already I run into storage issues, you know, and it's like, oh, well, you'll have a carport. That was the original plan, do the carport. Oh, just leave them out against the wall under the carport. Well, then you deal with mud daubers, raccoons, cats, bugs, insects. And again, that's just something silly. That's just the interior of the car. It's increasingly frustrating trying to make this work in my head without doing a shop. And that's kind of one more reason of what led me to this point. You know, guys, I'm somebody that likes doing things a certain way. Everybody's a little bit different. Where I grew up, I had to work on my car in the street. Then afterwards, I've lived in apartments, third, fourth story apartments where I had my car in a parking lot and every tool I owned was in the trunk. You know, I've come a long way to get to where I'm at. And believe me, 10 years ago, something like this would be a dream come true to me. But, you know, I'm past that point now. I mean, this is something I'll be doing the rest of my life. I'm not planning on moving anytime soon. So to me, it's, you know what, let's just build the thing. I've wanted a shop since I could change the chain on my own bike. You know, everyone's always wanted room to work on stuff. And we'll always have the old guys talking about how, oh, I used to use an oak tree and a chain hoist to pull motors out in the field. Like, that's awesome. I'm going to build a shop. You know, like, it's great, cool, but that's, you know, nothing against that, but you generally don't try to set yourself up to be in that type of situation. It is what it is, but this is me not taking baby steps anymore, because I've been taking baby steps in the evolution of this channel. You can kind of see that, and I get just these little bits of satisfaction I think are going to be enough, and they're not. I think the best analogy that is very grounding is a kitchen. Everything you need in a kitchen is in the kitchen, the food, the pantries, the oven, the refrigerator, the countertops, the cutlery. Everything is right there. When you look at a shop, no matter what you're doing to an engine or transmission or the car itself, it's super convenient to have everything you need right there. Aside from paint and body work, that's obvious. But when you're in a kitchen, your oven's not in the living room, the refrigerator's not in the back bedroom, the sink isn't in the basement, the cabinets aren't on the roof. You know, everything has a space. There's a recipe that most people follow, and it's effective. So you guys get the point. In a shop environment, as you've just seen, the constant back and forth. You know, I have a tool cart up here in the garage. I'd have to wrestle down those 2 steps to use on that slab, and then when I'm done for the day, I have to get it back in here or drag it through the dirt to the back part of the slab, because if you've noticed on the workshop, the shed portion is raised a foot and there's another slab, but it's on the back side opposite of this slab. So I've even entertained the idea of getting Quikrete, as I like to play around with so much, and building like a 4-foot wide path around the back of the workshop to the slab, so where I can wheel stuff in and around and get everything out of here and shoehorn it into that workshop. Guys, believe me, I'm not trying to just ramble on and on here, but I have thought of every single little avenue to make this work. It's just not going to happen. I've got to, you know, I made a right turn and I went down this road. I've got to just take a few steps back and go down this other road, because this road to the right is a dead end. You know, I hate having to go backwards, but it's for a very good reason. So guys, I think what really bugs me the most is, and why I've waited this long to do this, is not so much that, of course, not tearing this down and not building a shop would save me a ton of money, but I dislike destroying things that have nothing wrong with them. You know, I'm not ignorant to the fact that this is a perfectly good little workshop for somebody. I've spent a lot of time and money I've put 3/4 inch plywood, hand tarred and tar paper and shingled all by hand. You know, this is like a 40-year roof I did not but 5 years ago. And I've replaced all of these walls. Again, we don't need to get into all of that. So it's very difficult for me to pay somebody to just come in here and tear this down, when I've spent so much time and effort making this work. You know, I mentioned on that car, something as simple as that car, the one project car we have. You know, on this channel, I like to buy and resell. I like to buy cars, fix them up and sell them. That car is for me. That car, that Galaxie, is not exactly a car I bought to put money into to turn around and sell it. That's going to be my personal little toy. So in the meantime, I'm ready to get another flip car, another project car. And already you can tell just from what I mentioned earlier, you know, hey, let's take the seats. Let's stick to the original plan, right? Let's put the carport up. Let's do something as simple as taking the seats out of the car and put them in here in place of the Harley. Now I don't have any room for anything else. Like, okay, I want to pull the engine and transmission, and bring them in and tear them apart and put them where exactly? Like, I just don't have the space to work on a project to that extent, on top of getting another project car to work on alongside that one. You know, I'm tired of just having one car at a time. I'm tired of having to have one project at a time, because you're always bottlenecked with, okay, well, now I got to order parts, or now I have to send this out for machine work, or, oh, well, I can't, even in case of that Audi, I can't find a certain part I need. And but then a month later, I can find it. You know, all that downtime can really affect the productivity of not just the channel, but my life in general. I mean, I love to keep myself busy. I love tinkering and working on things, as most of us do. But to just bottleneck yourself to one vehicle, I've been doing that my whole life. for the most part, up to this point. And it's time to move. It's time to move forward. Is really the point of that. So guys, without making this a 20-minute long video on something that could have taken 3 minutes, there are many more reasons and little details that are of why doing this project from the get-go benefits me. One is putting up a freestanding building such as the shop next to a freestanding carport already existing. There are codes and reasons you can't just put two freestanding buildings 2 inches from each other. So just doing the carport and then deciding to put the shop right next to it later on, and then trying to, sister them up so I can put some kind of roof so there's not a weird gap. That's going to be a headache down the road. More along the lines of it's not engineered. They're not engineered to be connected in any way. So again, we don't need to even get into that any further. You already understand. But other little things. I'm planning a half bath in the house, and I need the washer and dryer out of the house, back into the garage. Can't do that until the workbench is out of the way. Can't move the workbench until the shop is up. Like, believe me, there's a lot of little reasons. It's not just the one thing. It's not just because, I don't have any room to put the seats out of the car. I'll forget it. I'm not doing anything. It's not that. There's lots of little reasons, which I know don't need explanation. You guys get it. Anyone that's ever worked on anything, you want to be inside of a shop that's either heated or AC'd and have all the tools you need and everything right there in front of you. It's common sense. But again, try not to make this video 20 minutes long. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around as long as you have. Big thanks to all my new subscribers and everyone just joining the fun. There will be maybe some time-lapse videos of me getting everything out of this shop, and of course them tearing it down and putting up the new concrete. Keep in mind, we're going to have a 30-minute cure time on that new slab, or 30-minute, yeah, I wish. We're going to have a 30-day cure time on that new slab once it's in, so that's going to be another hiatus from videos. I mean, but I won't care at that point because I'll be excited. So, but again, guys, hey, thanks for watching. Stick around. Well, that's the first thing out of here. Even less room. Perfect. Plenty of room.